Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I support this mediated version of the bill, and I congratulate the team. Mr. Speaker, those of us who are lawyers know that even in law, we are moving from confrontation, from litigation to mediation. So mediation is a good thing. Here, we have this mediated version because we are obligated by the Constitution. But we should encourage ourselves as a House, the Senate, the Council of Governors, that instead of litigating all the time, we should endeavor to mediate what we perceive to be our differences. As a National Assembly, we have been greatly restrained in litigation. In fact, of about 36 cases that I've counted, I think virtually all of them...
We are defendants.
Yes, we are defendants. Yes. They have been initiated either by the Senate or the Council of Governors. So I urge the Senate and the Council of Governors to take that cue, that instead of running to the court, we should try and mediate our issues. In fact, it looks very untidy to a Kenyan that the Constitution says there is the Parliament of Kenya. And then you have the Parliament of Kenya suing the Parliament of Kenya. It's actually an oxymoron. And it is something really to be discouraged. And in it, we must understand that even though the Constitution creates institutions that are independent, they are also interdependent. And that independent must not be taken to its illogical conclusion. We need not be antagonistic all the time. We can actually sit and discuss and agree. Because in fact, if we were to take the hard stance all the time, this House would actually match the victor. But I think this House has purposefully taken a step back for the betterment of the nation. Mr. Speaker, it is a good thing that we were able, and we are navigating even the issue of the road maintenance levy. And as we directed yesterday, Mr. Speaker, we'll be having a kamukunji on it on Tuesday. And as directed by the court, we'll be considering the Kenya Roads Act, Section 6 and 47. I believe that when we look at it, there are two things we are required to look at, and we ought to look at. One is the question of percentages, because the court cannot determine for us how much to allocate. But the court can only encourage that do not exclude. And we will be talking percentages. But I think that we should go beyond percentages and we should talk of purpose. If we appropriate a certain percentage of the roads maintenance levy fund to the counties, it is for what purpose? It cannot be for purposes of constructing the footpath next to my home. I think it is now time to consider, because I think we're all suffering. While we can usually engage with KERA to try and do some maram roads here and there, all tarmac roads, the few that may have been done, are all being now wiped out. So we should now restrict anything that is allocated to the counties to the low volume tarmac in the urban areas within our constituencies. That way we can see what is being done. Speaker, because, for example, take two examples that are totally devolved. Health. Many of the counties would rush to construct health facilities because that's easy politically, but then not put any drugs because that's expensive and it is not visible. Many of the counties would rush to put a sports facility because that's visible, but not invest in the sports equipment or in the sports tournament. The idea of sports was removed from CDF and none of us is now involved. And you'll realize that in the whole country now, you do not find sports tournaments. You know? So development of top sports talents then just dies like that. I'd like to finish, Mr. Speaker, by saying, in the context of all this is the question of NGCDF. And as Mr. Speaker directed, next week we are discussing this matter, especially the constitutional amendments, and then we go on recess. I would like to urge members at this point to plan for next week so that you are pleased here. it would be a very unfortunate situation if we get to next week when we are supposed to rate 2/3 and then we hear some members are in their constituencies, some members are abroad, some members are in their offices, some members are in all sorts of other businesses that usually engage members of parliament. But this is much more fundamental. I support Mr. Speaker.
Osoro, the last one on this side.